Hello and welcome to the UK Lebanon Tech Hub podcast. Today we have Rebecca MacMillan, who just gave us a great talk on strategic communications, and we're going to dive into the details of that topic right now with her. Hello again.
Hi.
So it's a pleasure to have you here. We are here today to talk about strategic communications. And before we start, obviously the first question is, what are strategic communications?
Or what is?
What is strategic communication?
So strategic communications is the ability of an individual or a company or a firm to relay a single core message about who they are in a concise and precise matter to their target audiences.
Interesting, you mentioned target audiences. This was obviously a big part of your talk.
Yes.
And one of the central ideas to master before getting into communications.
It depends on what you're aiming and what you would like to accomplish. If you are an entrepreneur, a startup, a business that is looking for an investor or partners or to acquire some type of funding, then you need to know very well what your audience is and what matters to them. And based on that, you target your message accordingly. If you are a new business or an individual and you have a product to sell and your target audience is strictly the people who want to buy your product, then you need to think about what they would like to see and how they would like to buy the product, and you target your message towards that goal.
So we've talked about who we're talking to, what we're saying, and finally there's also the delivery. You were talking about keeping a core message and tailoring the presentation to whoever you are talking to.
Yes.
So can you expand on this idea, please?
Well, generally speaking, it is always advisable to think, who are we talking to? What are the things that matter most to our audience, whether it's an investor or a client that we're targeting, and then try and tailor our message to suit their needs, to relate emotionally to them, to attract them a little bit more than us talking about our product or ourselves. We want them to want to buy our products or want to be part of our entrepreneurial endeavors. So we need to relate to them on an emotional level and know a little bit what they want.
I would say there are two layers to what you just said.
Yeah.
One of which is the storytelling. So how do we tell a story that is compelling to our audience? Going as far as crafting different stories for different personas.
Yes.
But there's also the idea that you need to maybe highlight different features.
The important thing is when you're talking, and we've already touched on the fact that there's competition and there's a lot of people who do almost, if not the exact same thing that you do, is for you to think very deep and go back to the drawing board and say, what is it that I do that is different? And then highlight that difference, because that's what's going to make you sell better or give you the unique feature that you're going after if you are trying to attract clientele or investors.
Attracting investors, how is that different from attracting clients?
Well, first of all, investors want to know what's in it for them. How much are they going to make out of this? What is their return on investment, their ROIs? And so there is an emotional element maybe, but there's definitely a financial element for them. You have to be able to show them, other than your good compelling story and your amazing personality or your ability to present, that at the end of the day it's a sound business investment. So you have to back it up with the right information. For the clients, most of the time it's just a transaction. You have something they want, you manage to relay it to them or present it to them in a way that affected them or called them to action, and so they want to buy it. And you grab their attention and they purchase. And it's a one-time deal, and oftentimes it could be something very small, so small investment. An investor will go to the big numbers, and that's when they have to really think hard. And you have to be able to give them the information they need.
I would even add to that, it would be interesting for entrepreneurs to set up investor personas, outlining why this investor could be interested in my idea.
Absolutely.
Investors have different types of investments. Some of them are specialized in fintech or health tech. Some of them take only early stage companies. So it's also a good thing to plan out what type of investor we're trying to target, why.
Yes, and obviously if you are an energy, environmental startup that's also launching a platform online for awareness or to do some type of recycling, anything like that, It would be wise to find investors who actually care about these things,
Yeah.
whether publicly or indirectly through certain NGOs they support. Do your due diligence, research the investor, and see what matters to them, and then you can target it better.
Finally, I would like to ask you, on behalf of all our entrepreneurs, for a piece of advice or a tool or an idea that you would like to plant in their heads regarding strategic communications and getting started.
There's so many things I'd like to tell them and so little time.
Pick your favorite.
No, at the end of the day, you have to have confidence not only in yourself but in your product or your idea, and you have to be able to think very carefully how you wish to say it, that anyone can understand, not just the investor. And then bring it down to the basics, and then from there start by saying simply and genuinely and with great confidence, what is it that you do?
And in one sentence.
If possible.
If possible. Rebecca, thank you very much. It was a pleasure having you over, and
Thank
we
you.
hope to see you very soon at the Hub.
I enjoyed it quite a lot.
Thank you very much.